Well, good evening, everybody. How are you all tonight? It's great to see you all here already. We've already had a snow raid.
Oh,
tonight.
nice.
Thank you, Snowdub, our wonderful friend, my good buddy. We nearly had no raid at all because like 3 minutes before we started, my laptop crashed. so if things are awry, then you'll know why.
And I've got power to do most things, but not click go live.
You should have. Yeah, well, welcome, everyone. Welcome, Brahma. Welcome, Pope. How are you guys?
I think we've both been better.
Why? What's been happening? Nothing's happened.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all has been happening. Nothing at all.
Just a normal week outside of the NHL season for us.
Yeah, it's been a super quiet week. Nothing going on. We'll when we sat here at this time last week with 2 Game 7s about to come up in the on the Sunday when we'd stopped, I never imagined for 1 minute that I would be the only person sitting here supporting a team still in the cup.
No, I thought we would be playing you guys, although I had my doubts, and I really didn't think Boston was going out. So
I didn't think either one of us was going to, but I figured at least one of us was going to stay alive.
Yeah, Game 6, we looked strong, and Game 7, honestly, we looked strong. Grubauer saved the Kraken's asses in Game 7.
Yeah, it was one of the weirdest days. I think you and I, Brahma, were on late night culture.
Yeah, well, no, I came on after the game.
You came on after, and I was watching. I went, "Oh shit!" reacting live, and nobody knew what I was talking about. Like,
yeah. Well, culture was like, "Why weren't you there?" I was like, "Trust me, I wasn't going to be paying attention to a damn thing you guys were saying." So there was no point in me being on the show until the game was over.
Well, WG is in the chat, our great friend WG, and he's spelling out Canes, and he may have a point.
Well, they're in position where I said that they would be at the beginning of us doing this show. Is the Canes will probably be in the finals now.
Yeah, you should have stuck to your guns. Yeah. We're going to look at the bracket soon because I think it's destroyed. There's
Mike DiCarlo is about the only person who's got a chance of doing crap.
Well, there's somebody predicted the Kings would win. I can't remember who it was, Krimlon or somebody. So that's actually, they still got a chance.
Yeah, I think it was either Krimlon or WG that had the Canes going.
Chance. There's no chance. So welcome everybody on YouTube and Rumble. We're live over in Rumble, obviously, on Brahma's Rumble. Lots of people watching. I think you had about 1,500 views on that last week.
Yeah, the number went back up from 700 on that week that they were having trouble to another 1,500. So
yeah,
it's doing well on Rumble. And we've got Chris Pavlovsky, the CEO of Rumble, rating places tonight, so maybe we'll see him pop in. I wouldn't.
Best of luck for that. Yeah,
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Absolutely, mate. Hope so. So, but we also have on both Rumble and YouTube, Smokey's in both chats. Obviously, welcome, Smokey. Yeah. Snowdub is here. Good buddy. Obviously, Mike Roch isn't keeping him occupied right now. WYSIWYG Entertainment is with us. I think it's WYSIWYG. Whiz. I can say
Whizgiz.
I can't want to say WYSIWYG. Darius Munchausen's here, and not only is Darius here, but Darius has dropped $3.
Nice.
Super chat. Thank you, Darius, my brother. And it's hands doing the sign of the horn with sparkles around. So I guess we're going to play some kind of tribute video to that.
Take him to Detroit.
No, not Detroit. No, please. Anything but that.
So thank you, Darius. WG, of course, is here. Our fantastic friend WG. Definitely going to persuade him to get on this show one of these days.
When the Canes get into the finals, he's going to have to come on.
That's right. And we'll make sure he can't watch the games then.
Yeah.
Canadian Spider-Man, good to see you, buddy. E. Clay Thomason is here. Davina Hello, Davina. How are you? Mike DiCarlo, who's still in with a chance of winning the cup, albeit a slender chance at the moment, but still a chance. 1 in a million. Actually, you never know what's going to happen. That's the way these games are going. You never know now what's going to happen. But yeah, we'll be checking in with you guys in the chat. Keep those. His friend's drinking Jim Beam Kentucky Bourbon, which nicely leads us into what we're drinking tonight. And I can drink tonight. I couldn't last week because of medication, but I can drink tonight. Nice. So what have you got, Brahma, my friend?
I have just the good old regular Maker's Mark. Just going with the very big bottle of it. We'll see if we can dent it down to about here tonight.
All right, here we go. I actually love the square, that kind of square bottle, that particular one.
Yeah, they've got a good bottle. And I'm also having a Dos Equis because it was Cinco de Mayo yesterday, so I got a 24 pack of them that I still have 6 of. So
you're missing a Scotch because you need 1 bourbon, 1 Scotch, 1 beer.
I could pour a monkey shoulder, I guess.
As George Thorogood famously sang.
Yep.
Pope, my friend, are you tippling tonight?
I am not. I'm sticking with water because, first of all, it's hot as hell around here tonight. And second of all, it's very, very late and I have to work.
That's true.
I'm actually working. So,
well, appreciate you joining us again. Thank you. I know it must be painful.
No worries, man.
I'm drinking something is obviously a brand that's familiar to Brahma, the Redwood Empire, the Emerald Giant.
The Emerald Giant, the rye version.
The Rye Delilah is the song. So I'm having some of that. There we go. It's about glass 3 already, so I'm making up for lost time from last week. Well below the neck now. So yeah, so at this time, we'll first of all look at tonight's game, and I've got a couple of clips from that later. The Oilers came back resoundingly tonight for a 5-1 win against the Knights. A couple of good goals and some fights to be seen in that.
A lot of fighting. Yeah.
A lot of fighting. So they're still in the game, tied that series 1-1, split the aways. But yeah, so last week, Sunday was a day of doom, unfortunately for you guys.
Indeed.
So what's the fallout been? I'll start with you, Brahma, from an Avs perspective. What has the post-mortem been like?
The post-mortem around here has been fantastic that we won the Central. We really shouldn't have ever been in it, probably, from the way the season kind of progressed. We never had our team together until the playoffs, and we were still missing Landeskog. And then you have the whole situation with Makar getting suspended for a questionable hit. Really, I think a lot of us felt like we should have won this series. Game 7 we outplayed them pretty much the whole game, and Grubauer stood on his head. But I don't think we would have been in Game 7 if we had Makar not suspended in Game 5. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think we would have been able to get to where we wanted to get either way. Nichushkin just flat up disappearing on us for supposed personal reasons. There's lots of news going around that.
How much of that can we talk about?
I'm on Rumble. I can talk about whatever I want. So
I don't mind hearing because this is allegedly.
Yeah, so
use the word allegedly.
Nichushkin, apparently they went to check on him before the morning skate or something like that. And there was a girl in the room that was the team doctor had to call the ambulance because she had either gotten so intoxicated that she couldn't function or, possibly something in the drink. So weird situation. They rush her to the hospital. They have security escort him out from what I understand. And he basically got on a plane. The girl from
now fighting in Ukraine as we speak.
Yeah. From certain reports, the girl, claims to be Ukrainian born or Russian born, but from Ukraine or the other way around, and was not over here by her own free choice. So not sure what's going on there.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Allegedly, yeah, we don't know what's going on, and we haven't heard anything. The team didn't give us any updates other than it's for personal reasons. So I don't know what's being told to the team either. You know, the GM may be the only person that knows what's going on. Maybe the GM and Sakic, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
There's a possibility he may not ever be seen again.
If it's what is being alleged, yeah. So, but I mean, they're initially most of this information came out in what appeared to be a police report, and then there's no investigation going on according to everybody involved. So it just doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah, very bizarre.
But yeah, as far as the season, I mean, we can be happy we won the Central for the third straight year. Sucks getting put out in the first round, but it was a devastatingly rough season. I called it a cursed season all season, and I believe that's probably the best way to describe the season. So
what's the latest on Gabriel Landeskog then?
So Landeskog, Bednar came out earlier this week and basically said that Landeskog has a decision to make. So I mean, we don't have anything more than that, but my interpretation of that is either he's going to have to hang up the skates, or he may have to. The decision may be that he needs to get a fourth surgery on that knee in the last year and a half. So I don't know what happens with him either, because it's hard to figure out what he would be able to do if he has a fourth surgery and tries to come back. It's all around a bad situation. Another Swede going down to the Avalanche, because Forsberg pretty much never got to play out his full career due to injuries that occurred.
Well, touch wood that the decision is maybe a different one from what we're thinking, but it doesn't seem good. But
I don't see a lot of other options that decision could be, and the way it was kind of worded. So, I mean, that's the current jersey that I've got. I've liked Landeskog since he came in. He was at the time the youngest captain ever in the NHL. I mean, they gave him the captaincy at like 18 or 19 years old. So, and we haven't had many captains. It's been Sakic, Hayduk, and I think it may have been Foote.
Could have been Foote, yeah.
Or Sakic, Foote, then Hayduk, and Hayduk passed the C to Landeskog, I believe.
Not very many,
so,
no. And a lot of free agents in the off season as well. You got a lot of free agency.
Yeah, we've got McKinnon, Rantanen, Makar, Landeskog, Nichushkin, Gerard, Manson, Lehkonen, Taves, Georgiev, Francouz, O'Connor, and McDermott locked up through at least next year. But Eric Johnson, Comfer, Lars Eller, Rodriguez, Cogliano, Helm, Jack Johnson, and Nieto are all unrestricted free agents. And then Alex Newhook and Bo Byram and Dennis Mulligan are all restricted free agents. Okay. So we've got a lot of decisions to make. The team is going to look very, very different next year. I mean, we'll still have those core players minus maybe Landeskog. So we'll still have that big line. We'll still have probably a strong 4 on D and our goalie. But then, as we saw in the playoffs, nobody from outside of the top line scored during any of those games, except for a couple defensemen who we would also consider, top. But the second, third, and fourth lines were non-existent during that series. So it may be a good thing that we have to reevaluate some of those guys.
Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of activity to come in the
it'll be a busy off season.
Yeah, interesting. So Pope, that is to say, you're in someone's head, Papa Emeritus, instead of Pope Metallicus. But I think Papa Emeritus could be like your subtitle, couldn't it really?
Well, the funny part is his character is basically what I based this name on.
Yeah, that's right. You're in your heads and on our minds.
Absolutely.
You're in our hearts, you're in. So Bruins post-mortem must be interesting, I would have thought.
Yeah, I mean, you go from having a team that is, in terms of win percentage, the best in NFL or NHL history, and then get knocked out in the first round to a team that didn't really do all that well in the overall scheme of things.
Yeah.
I obviously I'm not in New England anymore, so I haven't talked to a lot of people from there about it, but yeah, people are not happy, and a lot of people are asking questions. Especially after the last two games, they seemed like they had absolutely no heart. They had no fight in them. They were just kind of going through the motions.
Weird. I mean, the Panthers are clearly staking a claim, though, given they've won their first two against Toronto. Although,
yeah,
Mike
they got a bit of a boost out of that.
Yeah, Mike may have some concerns about the physicality of some of that, and we'll be talking about that in a little while. But one of the things that I noticed on Twitter was somebody talking about just what the implications might be for Boston. If I can expand that screen a bit, there we go.
Yeah,
This I didn't realize what they'd given up at the trade deadline: first, a second, a third, and a fifth for two rentals. Orlov and Hathaway. Yeah. Orlov, I didn't see a lot of. Hathaway, I noticed him playing quite a lot in the. He was noticeable. Let's put it that way. Gave up a first and a fourth for a rental in Bertuzzi, and then cap implications by structuring certain deals. So the implication is that because they didn't go all the way, they may well have screwed the pooch, so to speak.
Depends on if they can keep any of the rentals, but it's hard to keep rentals when you're trying to keep the rest of the guys around too. If you, I mean, there's a couple guys that may be done, right? Bergeron possibly out.
Yeah, Bergeron mentioned this might be his last year. I don't know if since we didn't win this year, he'll go for another round, but he's been in the league for 20 years at this point, and that's a long time to be in this game. So I wouldn't blame him if he hung up his skates after the season. He's been a constant guy on our lineup for 2 decades now, so I can't really blame the guy for wanting to go do something else, especially, he gets hurt all the time. He plays through it, but the guy takes an absolute beating.
So
yeah, what's the news on Ullmark? Because they were talking about he was in a ridiculous amount of pain, and then I thought he came out and was like, where do you get that from? I didn't read the second article, but it seemed like he was refuting that.
Yeah, that's a confused mess right now. I see articles saying he was playing injured or playing sick, and then other articles with him saying he's fine and all that. So who knows?
Okay, so it is kind of same thing. They're not going to tell what's actually going on until probably 2 or 3 months from now.
We'll find out months later. Especially because I don't know how long we have him for, so that may be him trying to not give something away in negotiations.
But it also would probably make him look better if he played that well, and the only reason you guys lost was because he was hurt, and he can claim, well, I mean, I was injured. You guys knew some of it or something. True. I mean, because if he's saying that he was healthy, that's not a good look for him in those last 2 games.
Yeah, especially
that's a guy who can't close out at that point.
The last 3 games, I mean, our goaltending was the problem.
Yep.
It's like if you're losing games 2-1, 1-2, or 2-1, 3-2. Okay, you'll lose games like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start getting blown out by or you start scoring 5-6 goals, obviously your goal is not doing the job, or your defense isn't helping them.
Right.
And I saw a lot of very passive play in the last couple of games. It's really they just didn't seem like they were playing playoff hockey at that point. They were just. Especially the last period of Game 7, they were letting the Panthers play in our zone all period. They weren't dumping it out. They weren't trying to get offensive. They were we had a 1-point lead, and they were content to leave it at that.
Yeah,
I know exactly why the Bruins lost the first.
Was that
in the first round? Because Jim Montgomery didn't have a large pair of breasts behind him on the bench.
It could be.
That was
the power of boobs.
The talisman was not there, or taliswoman, you could say in this case. That's the reason they lost. It was like they kept looking at the bench, nothing there. So,
no talus tits.
No talus tits. So, do you think Bergeron's going to retire, or would he ever consider going anywhere else? Do you think?
He'll stay with the Bruins if he stays in the league.
Right. So it's
He
either
said
Bruins
that
or nothing.
repeatedly, that he's going to be a Bruin all the way through his career until the day he retires. But I wouldn't be surprised if he hangs it up this year. Especially if we won this year, he definitely would have retired. Because that's one of those, okay, I'm going to go out on top. I just won the Stanley Cup for the second time. What else am I going to do?
That actually reminds me, I'm just going to show I had a photograph I found when I was looking through some photos today. It's nothing, totally weird and exceptional, but hang on. I got to find it. It's a Bruins related one. Bourbon and boarding. Hang on. I got so much stuff in here now. Oh, here it is, right. So this is a photograph. I like this photograph, but it's not what it appears to be.
Look at this photograph.
Hang on. There we go.
Hell
I took that walking past the TD Garden on a billboard when they were doing some work around it, and they had fencing up.
You can see the chain link fence at the top.
Yeah, and I took it so as close as I could to try and make it look like I was standing on the ice behind them.
Yeah, I remember when they were doing all that work around the garden, they had all that up so you couldn't see what was going on in there.
Yeah, just
that's funny.
You reminded me of that, but it's still, I'm quite proud of that photograph. It looks
pretty good perspective shot. Yeah,
it is.
It does.
Anyway, that was a non sequitur leading to nothing. TZ, good. Welcome to you, TZ. Good to see you.
Hanging out on both sides again.
Hanging out on both sides. We can see the chats on Rumble. Rumble is supposedly releasing an API soon to allow chats to be shown on screen in.
I have heard that.
Things like Melon and StreamYard. So that will be fantastic to have a mixed chat, although that might be interesting if they're all mixed in one long stream for us when we see them here in the studio.
I'll still be watching them on the others. I still pop out both chats, even though I can do it in here.
Yeah.
When I see something to highlight, then I go highlight it. So
the one I'm happy about is they finally got rid of the placeholder video thing for live stream, so people who are allergic to production value like me can finally do it.
The mandatory placeholder is gone.
Just encouraging you amateurs to the detriment of us pros.
Well, the worst part is I do actually have an intro video if I ever found some music to go along with it, but I don't because I'm lazy.
Forget about it, because if you make an intro video, after a few weeks you go, I really don't like it, and it's just more work to do another one, and you just keep remaking them. I've made them like a dozen times. So it's a very different series from what we were expecting, obviously. So I don't know if let's have a look at some bracket stuff.
Yeah, very different from what everybody picked, except for Mike and Kangarooster.
So Kangarooster picked the stars.
And Bill
so
and
Kangarooster is still a chance. Kangarooster, there is still a chance. Obviously, everyone else is screwed.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, Mike. Of course, Mike has got the lead.
Yeah, Mike's got the total possible points. He's got by far the most. 347 possible left.
Mike is killing it with the possibles. Yeah.
Let's look at his bracket.
Yeah, let's have a look at Mike's bracket. So,
since it's the only real live bracket left.
Yeah. Well, Kangarooster. So Mike has got obviously he fell prey to the Colorado one like we all did. But he had a Vegas Leafs final. So yeah, absolutely still a possibility.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Carolina, I mean, are they 2-0 in their series now?
Yeah, I believe they are up 2-0 right now.
They're the only, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, right now, what we've got for the current series, Toronto is down 0-2 to Florida. Yeah. Carolina's up 2-0 over the Devils. Vegas and Edmonton are at 1-1, and Dallas and Seattle are at 1-1.
Yeah. So, like me,
so it's going kind of the way we thought it would if Boston wasn't there. If we hadn't had to have chosen Boston in the first round, it's kind of going the way we thought it would in the second round. Yeah. Only most of us had Boston there instead of Florida. But,
yeah, I'm guessing there's a lot of people in Vegas who just lost a lot of money in the last week.
I think so. And then there'll be a handful of people who will make a lot of money.
Oh yeah,
eventually.
Yeah.
A handful. Hail to Southern Belle. Good to see you. And Andy Morrow, good to see you too. Yeah, so Mike is looking good as much as any of us can now with the way things are going.
Yeah.
My bracket is screwed. Hang on, we're going to go back to the proper league. There we go.
Yeah.
And the only other one that's got a chance of getting over 300 points is Kangarooster, who this is still on. That could happen.
That one's just as likely as the other.
Just as likely, yeah.
I'm just glad nobody's got Edmonton in there in the finals.
Everybody
wants Edmonton out first or out before then, so that's fine with me.
Well, absolutely, and I mean, I'd be happy if they went out, assuming the Stars can go through. Which, well, they certainly played a damn sight better in Game 2. Let's put it that way. We're slow starters in each series, so.
Yeah, well, the first game is usually the feel-out game.
Yeah.
We're both rooting for you. Hopefully, you can avenge the Abs at least.
Vengeance is mine.
I would say I'm on Mike's side now, but I just can't bring myself to root for Toronto.
No, me neither. I'm sorry.
So, Crimlon,
I'll go with WG and the Canes.
I do want to say that, unfortunately for Crimlon is at the bottom and can only get 10 possible points. So, I'm sorry, Crimlon. You really were screwed.
So pull his up real quick. How can he only still have 10 possible points?
Hang on, let me get it.
Because he has the Kings as a possibility. Oh no, they're out.
They're out.
No,
they're out. Yeah.
I was thinking he had picked one that was still a possibility.
So Crimlon's got the Kings 10 total, 10 possible. So Crimlon's dead in the water, basically.
Yep, he had Dallas.
He had Dallas, yeah.
That was the 10-pointer for him.
He had the Rangers, he had Dallas, and the Islanders. Yeah. Anyway, not that we're doing it much better. That's
no.
Yeah.
No, this was a weird year for brackets. Everybody got hurt real early.
So naturally, I'm rooting for I'm not sure what I'm looking at there. Sorry, wrong league.
That's the overall lead in the NHL league.
Clearly rooting for Kangarooster. Go Kangarooster.
Right.
So there has been a weird week though for there's been a weird season for records, but there was a record, or not really a record, but an unusual thing happening on the first couple of games where two players each scored 4 goals for the first time in 35 years. That's happened, and they both lost. So it's like, so your message is, do not let your players score 4 goals ever.
Did you get that meme I sent you about Pavelski?
Yeah, Twitter? I've got it somewhere here on Twitter. Hang on, it's you'll have to forgive me while I call these things up. Daryl Sutter. I'm sure I bookmarked it.
Well, it's in our private chat if you don't have it bookmarked. I told everybody hi earlier since you've got it. You had your DMs open.
Yeah. So Joe Pavelski in the locker room after a game where he scored 4 goals and his team still lost.
Anyone who plays competitive multiplayer games, like for me, it's World of Warships. You go through this all the time, where you'll have an absolute massive game and somehow lose.
Yeah, and it was his first game back from that the Dumba hit. He scored within like 3 minutes, and then he just couldn't stop scoring. But unfortunately, he couldn't stop letting goals in at the other end. But
he was the only one who decided to play on offense.
It was he was the only guy doing anything in the game. We had a terrible first period. After that, we were great, and then they got the overtime win. But we were 4-2 down. He single-handedly brought it back to 4 each. But then Draisaitl did the same. Scored 4 goals, lost the game. 6-4 or wherever they lost. So
just weird.
It is weird. I'll make sure a little clip or two from that later, but that was one of the weirdest things. And he did set a record, sorry. He is the oldest player ever to score 4 goals in a Stanley Cup game.
Right.
At 38 years old. So well done, Joe. Love you. Love you, Joe. Super, super Joe. If ever a man deserved to win a cup, it's Joe Pavelski, in my opinion. But,
Yeah, because he hasn't yet, right?
He has
Nope.
not. He's been in 2
Sharks
finals,
never could do anything.
2 finals, no wins. Anyway, that was indeed something. So, so there's been there's been a few firings, I guess you call them firings. Gallant is out at the Rangers. I feel that's a little unfair. That's just me.
The Rangers played okay.
Yeah,
they were a team that wasn't really a favorite to be a contender in the playoffs, and they made a good fight of it against a really solid team that was one of the best in the league.
And they made a good run last year.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit unfortunate. I think Gallant is doing a good job, but he's out. So that's I guess it's the way it goes. And then Daryl Sutter, of course, at Calgary, and apparently the players were revolting, and some of their players are revolting. I mean, let's face it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is Calgary, so, you know.
Some of them are pretty revolting. So what happened there was apparently there's been a bit of a player revolt. I mean, things were not good in the
players requesting trades unless he was fired.
Multiple players rescinded trades requests after they were fired. So unfortunately, that means the Flames are still stuck with them. They should have kept Sutter. I mean, although he does look at, I always thought the guy's like he's missing his lower jaw. I'm sorry to cast aspersions on anyone's looks, given how I look, but he always looked like he had no lower jaw. It's a bit weird.
Well, like he's got dentures, but he's always got them out.
Yeah, it's the teeth thing because naturally, hockey.
So, he can be a funny guy, though. Some of his post game conferences are hilarious. If you're not their team.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not their team. But he's, I have nothing against the guy personally.
Yeah, some of these press conferences with some of the more entertaining coaches tend to turn into more Jerry Springer than NHL press conferences.
Yeah.
Those will need a new phrase for that now.
I like the one last year where he was just like, well, I feel sorry for whoever is playing the Avalanche because they might as well just, book their tee times, on the 5th day after the playoffs start. So, and that was like 2.5 months before the playoffs started. He was already, and his team was, the other not conference leading team, but division leading team last year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, indeed, they had a good season last year, but really inconsistent this year. But they are getting a new arena though.
Yeah. I don't know that Kadri pickup was worth what they did because we all said he was way too old to be given that contract. Kadri had a great year last year. He had a fairly decent year this year, I believe, but they paid him a lot on a long-term contract, and he's just not worth it at this point.
He's been around forever too. He's what, like 37?
He's got to be like 35, 36. I mean, he may be 30. He may have been 36 last year, 37 now, but they gave him like a 6 or 7 year contract. I mean, that's taking him into his 40s.
How are you going to be paying a guy in the NHL when he's 42 years old?
No idea. Especially that plays the way he plays.
Do you know what will happen then, Pope? The Dallas Stars will sign him when he's 42. Because that's what Jim Nill does. He signs the most oldest veterans he can get his hands on.
I mean, he is in great shape for his age, but at the same time, he plays a rough game, and he's not going to stand up to that wear and tear.
And like I said, not everyone can be Jaromir Jagr. They're not going to be playing at 48. Sumo
is requesting a commercial break.
He is. Then we will have an advert. Let's see what we've got. Why don't we do this one?
What's up?
Tough call, pasta. Large cold brew?
Better make it a medium. I only have 2 minutes.
Penalty at 6:32 in the second period.
Hey, ref, check your voicemail. We missed some calls.
Wow, she knows your order?
Yeah, I'm pretty much a regular here.
Where there's hockey, there's Dunkin'. So grab a cold brew for game time. America runs on Dunkin'.
I have to admit, that's a bloody good advert.
Yeah. And DeCarlo says Kadri is 32, so he's not as old as we thought.
Right. He just looks like he's
but
38.
that's going to carry him to 40, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good advert. So thank you, Sumer, for suggesting that.
Some of the Dunkin' sports ads from the Boston area are absolutely hysterical.
We have a few of them. Maybe we'll play them later if I've got them in the back. So I'll find them.
The funny part is they're like, oh yeah, I'm pretty much a regular here. It's like Pasternak's the only one who doesn't get penalties regularly.
But they have had a couple times where where he's gotten a penalty, and then they play that in the arena as he's on his way to the box. They showed that on ESPN, I think. So
that's one of the things I love about the Bruins as an organization and as a fan base. We just embrace our nature and just go with it.
Embrace the suck.
Absolutely.
Yes, Southern Bell says, yes, I love Duncan. Bell rings on Duncan.
That's very true.
Well, we all love Duncan as a result, I can assure you, if you love it. So,
when you missed a few calls.
That's right. Yeah, she knows your order. Well, I'm a regular here.
It's even better when they can't speak very great English. I mean, like the Ovechkin ones are great because Ovechkin, you can barely understand a word he says half the time.
Right. And the other half is like mispronounced, jumbled English words inside of a Russian sentence. It's like,
So
I'm not sure that means what you think it means.
So we're going to get onto some specific things that happened this week. I know Mike DiCarlo is probably going to be interested in some of these. One is the Bennett. I keep calling him Bunting for some reason.
Well, one hit was Bennett and one hit was Bunting.
Yeah, so the Bennett, I think we've got both. I mean, these clips are maybe not going to come in order, but we've got a lot of clips tonight. But yeah, they were having a Knies was getting a real hammering, and he's got concussion now. Could be out for the remainder of the series. Bennett, we're going to look at that hit. Well, call it a hit.
This was the one where he got cross-checked in the back of the head, and then since they had already raised their hand, he decided to cross-check him a couple more times while he was down on the ice.
Jesus.
Yeah. So Bennett just, I mean, Knies is out with concussion. Bennett was not penalized on the play and was later fined $5,000, but no suspension.
Yeah, you knock a guy out for a automatic 2 games because under concussion protocol, you are out for 2 games. Does not matter.
Minimum.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
in some cases, if it's bad enough, you need a doctor's evaluation to even go back.
Well, Bowen Byram was out for almost a full season for concussion related symptoms.
Well, I mean,
he's had major issues.
Back in the day, he got a concussion and never played again.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the incident. Well, one of the incidents in question. The bad. Well, they were both bad.
Now this is the other one.
This is the other one. So that was the first one.
Yeah, that's where we're going WWE and slamming a guy into the glass and then slamming him onto the ice afterwards.
So they were clearly going for the guy. I mean, Bennett was picking on him. Hang on, I'll show that again. So that was incident number 1.
So he takes the back of his head into the glass and then continues to hold him and slams him into the ice.
Yeah. But it wasn't over.
And I believe that one did get called.
Yeah, that one did, but I think this is the other one. I may be wrong. But...
Yeah, this is it.
Look at that. I mean, that's...
Dirty pool.
Yeah.
And how did the refs not kick him out for that? Like, that's blatant
There's one.
misconduct.
There's the first blow. And
well, not only that, but they already called the penalty on the first one.
Yeah.
So he feels that he can get away with doing it again because, well, it's already a penalty. Because how often do they call a second penalty? Rarely. I mean, unless it's during the scrum afterwards.
That is something I would call a second penalty on because that's egregious.
Yeah, I would call it a cross-check, followed by a cross-check with a game misconduct.
Yep.
So I mean, it's bad enough that he hits him in the head. It's just, it's equally bad. The fact that he's down and unable to protect himself and he cross-checks him in the back.
Yeah, as soon as I see somebody cross-checking down onto the ice, if I'm the ref there, that's like, nope, you're out of here.
Yeah, the ice doesn't have a whole lot of give.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not much different than doing it into the boards because
not to
the
mention,
boards at least flex. I mean, the glass does.
Yeah, up high you can kind of excuse it as he's trying to get his balance or whatever and just kind of bumped into him a little hard. Okay. Going down onto the ice like that, like, no, that's clearly intentional.
Yeah.
So as Mike says, and I don't have that footage, but it's a fairly well-known incident that Matthews was suspended for 2 games for a similar cross-check. I guess that was last year.
Well, it's more of the Department of Player Safety not being consistent. I mean, if the NHL wants to get back to growing, Bettman's got to go. The guy in charge of the Department of Player Safety's got to go. They got to get rid of the hard salary cap and let teams do their thing and also make it consistent across the board on how you're going to call stuff. The refs need to also be held to account a little bit. I mean, I like the refs in the NHL, but I mean, they've got to be more consistent. They can't target individual players, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And if they, maybe they need to be fined if, they are, absolutely blowing calls that everybody else can see.
Yeah, I mean, this playoff series, this Stanley Cup series has shown just how inconsistent they are. It's been some wildly different calls, some no action after, and then some action after for different things, and no consistency of any of it.
And it only happens to certain teams too. If you notice, the Avs and the Bruins both got targeted this year with either no calls or some really questionable.
Well, that's
decisions.
what you say. No, I'm just kidding.
A horrible suspension on Makar, followed by a guy getting his neck broken. No suspension.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think most people should agree that player safety is important, but yeah, is there a Department of Player Safety?
When the league wants there to be, apparently.
Well, but it's run by a former goon, so
yeah,
true.
Sumo does have a point though, because considering it was a Leafs player getting cross-checked, the NHL surely they should just have awarded the cup to the Leafs now.
Right.
They're in Toronto. Yeah, but that was a bad one. I mean, it's hard for me to feel strong sympathy for the Leafs, but on that one, I absolutely feel total sympathy.
Oh yeah, that's just blatant bullshit.
Yeah, it's not deserved. He's a good player, and he's a good guy. So
I'm not for the whole, in the playoffs, if you've got a bad hit and their guy's out, then the other guy should be out for the same amount of time because I think that's stupid. But on this one, yeah, I mean, if you blatantly cause a concussion and that's an automatic 2 sit out for the other guy, then yeah, maybe that one should be an automatic 2-game suspension. If you cross-check somebody to the head and they're in the concussion protocol.
The real thing is just there needs to be consequences for this kind of behavior because it's going to get guys hurt. I mean, you saw a concussion, which is no
five of them already.
$5,000 is nothing.
Yeah, a fine is nothing to these guys.
Change.
Yeah.
Concussions are no joke, especially, but any kind of injury like that, there needs to be consequences. And some of these dirty hits cannot be tolerated because there's a reason they're against the rules. Some of these things have ended careers, like that knee-on-knee hit the other game.
Well, the worry is not a career-ending thing that could happen. Someone could die.
Yeah.
Someone could actually die.
The situation with Cogliano. I have seen video of guys dying on the ice, getting hit just like that.
Yeah. People can die. I mean, player safety should mean player safety. I mean, they should at least review every such incident. Sometimes in this series, in this playoffs, they've said, not even going to look at it. Don't care.
Yeah, the Cogliano hit didn't even get a invitation to have a hearing with them.
That's right, and that's wrong.
That's insane to me. Still, it's like you give a player with a broken neck off of a boarding call, and no investigation, no nothing.
And clearly boarding,
and not even a 5-minute major.
Nothing, just nothing.
Like, you could show that to an NHL academy. Like, this is what boarding looks like. Don't do this.
Yeah, textbook boarding. But we went over that plenty last week. But I mean, Department of Player Safety is a joke. Bettman's a joke as long as he keeps letting this crap go on.
What they need actually is they need this guy running the NHL.
Slashing is like that, you know?
Mm-hmm. And there's a penalty for that?
Yeah, and for a trip also, you know, like that, and for hook like this, and for spear, you know, like that. All bad.
Bad.
You do that, you go to the box, you know, 2 minutes by yourself, and you feel shame.
That guy needs to be running player safety.
I thought you were going to do a Shoresy clip.
We have Shoresy clips.
I really thought you were going to do a Shoresy clip, eh?
I love the fact that he's laughing. He's genuinely laughing as he says. Anyway, back to the action. So yeah, the Canes are looking pretty good. And Kotanami is not only scoring, I think he got 2 goals today, whenever they were playing last. But he's hitting, hit today, yesterday.
We only had the one game today, so.
Yeah, so, but he's hitting quite well too.
And this was right before that. A puck just gets caught along the wall.
Shot.
Yeah.
Let's see that one more time.
2 goals and then go do that.
Puck just gets caught along the wall.
So pretty
Especially
dominant.
the recovery from it too. There's no hesitation. Just boop, bye.
Yeah. So he's being a fairly dominant player right now, even if he has got a name that I can't pronounce, which is most of them.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a pretty good hit. I mean, it does look
that's
like
a great hit.
Yeah.
And this was right before that. A puck just gets caught along the wall.
Yeah, I like that hit. I mean, some people would say the head was taken, but it wasn't really.
The only way his head is taken is if he got his head into his ass, because I mean he went ass first into him. So
but yeah,
and that's an old Rob Blake hit right there.
Yeah, but he's playing up a storm, so who knows? Maybe one of the smallest supported teams could win the Stanley Cup. The Canes, they're playing well. They do look good, look pretty solid. So
yeah, be interesting to see the storm surge that they do if they win the cup.
I mean, haven't they won before though?
Not since they started doing the surge, I don't think.
No, but they've won. Was it 2006?
That was way back in the day, though, like late 90s, early 2000s.
2006, I thought. But they're the most. They're the late in the teams that are left. They're the most recent winners.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, bizarrely enough. Yeah, and even though it's like 2006, something like that. WG, WG's probably got all the.
Yeah, Sumo says they've got 2 cups.
Yeah, so they've done it before. It could easily happen. They are looking good.
Mm-hmm.
But Draisaitl, we talked about earlier, he's playing up a storm. I mean, is he actually more valuable than McDavid? I mean, he's beginning to look that way. I mean, they're both great players, but Draisaitl's just killing it. So
I think it's a case of one's not the same without the other. I mean,
still got beat though.
Yeah.
Game 1, yeah, that's right. So, but he's a tremendous player. Everyone talks about McDavid, but Draisaitl's got some skills. So we got more hits though.
Lots of hits.
Jacob Trouba.
Is this the open icer?
Yeah, huge hit on Timo Meier. Good hit, I think, but that's.
Now, it all depends how the referees on the ice see this. If they see it correctly, then they decide there's going to be no call. They could decide to make a call and review it.
Yeah, the hit itself is clean.
Yeah, there was a lot of argument about it, but I think it was clean. He went shoulder to the guy lowers his head, and he's not aware, open eyes. So you can't do anything about the guy lowering his head down.
Yeah. Funnily enough, there could almost have been a tripping call before it. But
Now, it all depends how the
it was
referees
in
and the
danger
ice
of
see
being a
this.
tripping
If
call.
they see it
Yeah,
correctly,
I mean, it's a
then
poke
they
check
decide
that
there's
didn't
going
go
to be no
anywhere,
call.
but
They could decide to make a
that's
call
dangerously close.
and review it.
Yeah. Now we have another view of it, which shows it. I actually think it's a good hit. I mean, at first it was like, "Ooh, shit."
Yeah, it looks bad, but most open eyes hits look bad because there's so much kinetic force just boom.
Yeah, and these are big guys. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
all big guys. There's no little guys anymore. Well, apart from Logan Stankoven.
Now, it all
it's
depends
the
how
same
the
view,
referees
sorry.
and the ice see this. If
Thought I
they
had
see
a
it
second view of
correctly, then they decide there's going to be no call. They could decide to make a call and review it.
I'll just double check because I did think
I think the other thing we've got of them is they did shake hands and no harm, no foul there.
And
They didn't have a problem with each other at the end.
They did, and here
hit like that, that's all you can do. It's just, all right, that was a good shot. I'm going to get you next time.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good hit, bro.
Yeah.
I do like that when you see that, and it wasn't hurt. So,
And I've had hits like that on both giving and receiving. You're just like, okay,
mutual respect in that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If he thought it was dirty, it would have been one of those where I'm not shaking your hand. I mean, because we've seen that more recently than we ever did in the past, but we have seen that. So he obviously didn't think it was a dirty hit. He probably said, "Yep, my head was down. I'm an idiot." You've got to keep your head up, open eyes.
Especially if you're anywhere near the puck, you have to keep your head coming and head up and see who's coming, because that's how you get absolutely leveled like that if you don't.
Yeah,
but it was nice to see them shaking hands out at the end. It's I'm sure
it looked like they were having a few friendly words there. I mean, and they genuinely friendly, not being sarcastic.
Yeah, absolutely. They've played each other so often. I mean,
it's probably like the normal trash talk, like you hit like a girl.
Yeah.
So, I should have played this earlier, but I'll play it now. So we had Jack Edwards last week orgasming. This is his reaction to the Florida win that put the Bruins out.
On him. Verhaeghe wins the series for Florida, and this joyride ends in a Hindenburg-like ending. The Bruins are the second record-setting team in a row to drop the series in the first round.
There's some awkward moments in that commentary.
Yeah.
You can tell he's trying to censor himself so he doesn't get taken off the air.
he tries to
play either.
The goal, when the goal scored, he's like, that's a goal. Then the Hindenburg comes to
right.
You can tell Brickley's probably sitting there right next to him like, Jack, we're live.
Smokey says, just watching Pope slowly diets.
Yeah, that one was painful.
And then we were just begging to get to overtime, so.
Yeah.
But you see in that clip some of the passive play I'm talking about. Like, they're just kind of collapsed around the goal, not really trying to engage, like just trying to block. And you're not going to win any hockey games doing that.
It's like prevent defense in football. All it does is prevent you from winning.
Yeah. That was funny because he's normally super hyped and exuberant, and there he was trying to be professional. But,
yeah.
And he fully admits he's a homer. He's like a hometown fan too. Like he's even brought it up on air.
Most of the TV and radio guys are.
Like, oh, you're such a homer. Get over it.
Well, he is, but I mean, I'm just disappointed he didn't mention Titanic. He got the Hindenburg in there, but didn't.
Very true. At least that one involved ice.
Yeah.
This is fucked. Hey, you know what's fucked, Cora? The amount of times your mom's faked a jellyfish thing to get me to.
God, I love that show.
Oh, yes. Don't we all? Don't we all? It's hang on, let's see.
I watched the cartoon of it today, Little Kenny.
Oh,
it was only like 6 episodes long, and they're all like 4 minutes per episode, but it was funny too.
Yeah,
it's how they all met.
I've seen one of them, but I've never watched the rest. I need to watch them now. Yeah,
it only takes about 15 minutes to watch all of the whole series.
Yeah, that's right. So it is time for another commercial break, though. I think so. We'll just.
Here's your beer.
Thanks.
Cool.
She's so pretty.
Brought to you
I mean,
by Tolerance.
He had a pull. That dude's got a pull much better than her.
He's not.
True.
That was he peaked. He peaked.
There was a whole series of those, and the funny part is they play them in the arena every now and again.
Yeah, they're good.
Those are old. Those are like probably 10 years old at this
Well,
point.
we've got a few more of them. Yeah.
Oh, we've got some ancient commercials. So
Oh yeah.
But
you
that
just collect them
that
because
one, it's ancient, and I've seen it a million times, and it still makes me giggle every time I see it.
Justified and it's ancient, and it drives an ice cream van. That's an old song. Can't even remember the KLF. That was it. Sorry, showing my 80s, 90s, my 90s stuff now. The KLF. They probably weren't big over here. I don't know.
I don't know of them.
The KLF. Yeah, I'll have to come back to that. But that's
All
a
right.
whole discussion. That's a whole show.
Right.
British house music of the 90s. Yeah. So a needle pulling thread. All right. So I can't resist it. I did talk about Joe Pavelski earlier, so screw it. I'm going to show some Joe Pavelski because he's God.
A huge boost emotionally and also from a skill standpoint. Sagan did a great job filling in for Pavelski in round one, particularly on the power play, but there's no question this team is much better with number 16 back in the lineup.
And there is a steal in the neutral zone by Domi. Across the line, Marchment. Pavelski to the net. Wrist shot. Star! Right on cue. Welcome back, Joe Pavelski. The early lead for the Stars.
That was the goal he scored early in the first game. Things went downhill rapidly after that for a while. But
Yeah.
but he got 4. In fact, I've got the 4th one. Screw it. I mean, got to celebrate, you know.
Yeah.
Good to see somebody having fun.
This was
Neither
goal
one of
number
us.
4. This was goal number 4 to tie the game when we looked like we're dead and buried, and Joe Pavelski single-handedly brings us back into it.
Domi controls. Hakanpää with speed. Looking for Pavelski. Star! He did it again!
So, if you throw hats for hat tricks, what do you do for 4th goals?
Panties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beers.
The people who refuse to get rid of their hat then must give it up by force.
By force, it's taken from.
Yeah.
That's why you should always wear the
That's when you
shittiest.
take them and throw them on the ice. Well, you don't want to get rid of your hat.
I
Well,
think it
guess
should
what?
be
Go with it.
bras. Bras should be thrown on.
Yes.
Why not?
Especially the one,
Let's start
one
that
behind the
trend.
bench.
Start the trend. Throw the bras for the 4th goal. Yeah. Everyone would be. I think players would be throwing. Goalies would be letting 4th goals in. Just
And it looked like a soccer match.
Yeah. So well done, Joe. And he did score another goal in the victory we had in game 2. So he's hot. And you know that he's actually Wyatt Johnston, our great rookie, who's somehow been ignored for even being considered for Rookie of the Year award, despite his wonderful season. He's lodging with Joe Pavelski in his house in Dallas. So it's kind of like it's like a fake father-son thing going on. He's playing a blinder. Johnson is absolutely killing it in these playoffs. He's great rookie. So good for him. We've got more Panthers Bruins from Game 7. Hot mic.
Oh yeah,
I think we got some
right at the beginning of the game.
We've got some hot mic.
We got some Shorzy coming from an actual ref.
Don't fucking test me. I don't know how much of this we'll hear.
Some penalties. It looks like Bennett is coming to the ball.
Now the Florida Panthers doing a good job, Burke, getting that dump in on the power play, then getting control.
Don't fucking test me.
Kazari's got that mic on.
Don't fucking test me.
Some penalties. It looks like Bennett is coming to the ball.
Now the Florida Panthers doing a good job, Burke, getting that dump in on the power play, then getting control. Oh, Kazari's got that mic on.
Oh, I love that. That's
and that's the arena wide mic.
Don't fucking test me.
There is one thing we forgot to talk about. I can't remember which game it was. The one where they flashed goal. I think it was Florida and Boston, wasn't it? Where they flashed goal like 15-20 seconds before it was at the end of regulation in that game. They flashed goal, a Florida Panthers goal with 30 or 40 seconds left before they had scored the goal, and then they scored like 15 seconds later. It was weird.
We were conversing about that on Twitter.
Your Muslim uncle was like all over it on Twitter. He was like, "Did you guys see that?" I was like, "No." He sent us a video of it, but I don't know where I put it.
People were trying to claim, without watching it properly, they were trying to claim, the horn must have sounded and blah, blah, blah. There's a delay, blah, blah. No, that was 30 seconds. And it came up goal on the flash thing came up.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. There's no explanation.
Technical glitch, but
but
the wrong button.
Just feeds more into the conspiracy theories of who was wanted to push on, because that was the goal that tied it up, that sent that game to overtime.
Yeah, and I mean, you do have to admit, the defending Stanley Cup champ and the best team in the NHL this year
went out on Game 7 on the same day.
Both expansion teams advanced.
Yeah, the NHL would love Vegas and the Kraken to meet in the Western Conference Final. They would love that, because it validates their franchise extensions to those cities. They would love it.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No, I don't think so. Seattle doesn't have enough, but
I think now the Stars have woken up, which they had one bad period and then they lost in overtime. But they've woken up now. I don't think they're going to lose. It'll go to 7, but I don't think they're going to lose. What was this that Sumo was saying? A World Series game with the fine ladies who flashed their tits behind home plate. I'm assuming. I think we need more of that in sport. I mean, there's just not enough of that.
Very true.
It's inclusivity. I mean, Hey, Courtney's here. Good to see you, Courtney. Yeah, refs need to hot mic more. And somebody else said earlier, the mic, Smokey said the mic should be on all the time.
Yeah.
We need to know what they're talking about down there to stop the conspiracies.
It would be nice.
That would be nice.
No, it'd be nice if it was set up like the old drive-ins where there's you could bring your radio and be able to just listen to the audio of the mic. So like the teams aren't supposed to be listening in, but the fans inside the arena can listen to on channel 91.8 or something,
That would be hilarious. Yeah. Am I the only person that ever goes? I've been to a lot of baseball in not in the last few years, but up until 3 or 4 years ago, I used to go to a lot of baseball. I still want to go to every arena, every stadium. I used to watch the game, but listen on the radio.
Really? I did that for football, and I have done it for hockey, because where I sit, we get like all the audio is garbled, so we can't hear any of the stuff where I sit for the hockey games. And in football, I mean, half the time you don't know what's going on. I mean, like, what's going on the field, but like somebody can go out injured and you have no freaking clue that they're injured, because they never announce anything at a football game. I mean, there's basically pass, caught, 10 yards or touchdown, but there's no information, and they can hide people so easily out of those 52 players on the sideline that you could have a major player out, and it's like you don't know until next quarter that, hey, he's not even out there anymore. So
that's why
the radio can be useful.
Yeah, generally when I go to baseball, I have the radio on, and so I can hear what. Otherwise, half the time I don't know who's doing what or to who. You know, like a call, I don't know what the calls. Not that I don't know the plays, but the umpire decisions. Sometimes I'm like, what the hell was that? You know. So here's one for WG. Let's show some Canes. This is a sick goal.
And now moving in with it. Backhand.
Oh, that is just dirty.
That is sick.
The dirty dangler.
Absolutely. Sick goal.
Especially after a spin to get the puck and then turn around and turn up ice with it before the D can even get there.
Yeah,
keep your speed going.
But just passes the blue line perfectly. That is sick as hell. Because it looks like he's going to go into the forehand to start with.
And the goalie just bought it completely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, completely.
He figured he was too out of control coming in that way.
In fact,
if you look at it, he didn't have a hell of a lot of time to get that backhand off.
No, because he reached all the way behind him, still at full speed, trying to turn forward. You bring it all the way across, and you figure he's gonna, snap it backhanded. But yeah, that was a great dangle.
Beautiful. It reminds me of a goal a couple of years ago. I saw it was a shootout goal between Rick Nash and Tuukka Rask, where Nash just went post to post on him, and just Tuukka couldn't even keep up. And Rask gets really mad when he gets scored on.
Yeah,
he was just like, "Nope, I'm not even angry." That was beautiful.
Sometimes you just got to sit back and admire what's happened to you.
Yeah, that's just like, I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
I think this clip portrays it very well.
Geez, I hate getting deked out by that guy. I hate getting deked. It's like being tricked. Guy says, I'm going to go left, but then he doesn't go left. He goes right, and then he scores, and he's some kind of hero, and I'm a gullible jackass.
Corner Gas, another great Canadian show. There's so many good ones. That one's for WG, showing the Canes. They are playing pretty well, I have to say. So, I mean, Brahma, you should have stuck with them.
I know. I should have kept that pick. Hope he talked me into it, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess so. We both did.
All along I said the Canes.
Hail Keely Chow. Good to see you.
But then I just would have been pissed off that they made it and I didn't. So
yeah.
It wouldn't have been a very happy win for me in the brackets if I had gone with the Canes and won the brackets and the other half of my pick wasn't there.
You don't make excuses. You caved because we pressured you. So WG says, what's more impressive is that Stalzi usually it has hands of stone, a la Roberto Duran. There's always that player that has hands of stone. They can get a million breakaways. No, never going to score. Yeah. So Stahl, but yeah, good for Stahl. It was a bloody good goal. We have some Leafs action. All I've got written here is Leafs goal. That's how far behind I am on my prep for tonight because I've been busy doing personal shit. But let's just play it anyway and let Mike just glory in they lost.
O'Reilly couldn't reach it. Now it's bumped back to Marner again. Ryan O'Reilly, right on rebound. And it's knocked back to Marner again. 2 looks. Here comes another. Scores! Ryan O'Reilly. And it is a power play goal.
You got to admit, Marner did some great work there. Marner did all the good work there.
I'm always glad to see Ryan O'Reilly do well. For those of you guys who don't know,
no,
he's the son of Terry O'Reilly, a famous former Bruin.
No, I'm never pleased to see Ryan O'Reilly doing well. So
I didn't like the way he left the Avs, so I haven't been a fan since. Plus the whole St. Louis thing. So
well, that's what I'm talking about. The Blues thing just let's not speak of that. But no, Marner did outstanding work there. It was a beautiful sequence. I didn't realize that they played Hall & Oates when they scored a goal. Sounds like Hall & Oates. You make my dreams come true.
You don't hear it very often. So
you make my dreams come true.
You don't hear it very often. That's right. They have a goal song. Like, why? I don't know.
That would mark their optimism.
Mike is still with us. I can see him there in the chat. So that was for you, Mike. That was a beautiful goal. They may not have won the game, but that was a bloody good goal. So there was a little bit of Samsonov, Bobrovsky shit going on, with some comments that I mean, he was asked a stupid question, I think, but yeah.
Bobrovsky is playing at the level he's playing at in the series. Do you feel like that's a challenge to you? You have to raise your game? Or?
I don't give a
Why not?
It doesn't matter for me. I'm doing my work. He's doing his work.
And what kind of stupid question is that anyway?
Is that the dumbest question in history? What do you think of the other goalie? Is he doing really well?
Yeah. It's like Chris Farley asking a question. So the other goalie is really good, right?
That's right. Do you look up to him? Isn't he wonderful?
Yeah.
Thank you. I love that. He gave the great, and he handled that very well. I thought, like, thank you.
There's got to be something going on Rumble tonight. We don't even appear in the sports category for the first time.
What is going on?
I don't know. I went through all 5 pages and don't see us anywhere.
Oh,
strange. And 70s couldn't even find the show earlier when before the show he couldn't find the Rumble side of it at all.
That could have been my laptop being fucked up tonight for some reason. I had to reboot it 2 or 3 minutes before we started, but I could not find it. It just wasn't there in the live anywhere. But
it's kind of weird.
It is weird
because it's been going so well with the way they've promoted us on Saturday nights.
We're still wonderful.
Yeah.
So WG says the best goal song ever is Brass Bonanza for the Whalers. Brass Bonanza? I'm not sure I know that one. Brass Bonanza. I mean, I know the theme from Bonanza, the Western show. Hell, I might even have it on this stream deck here. No, I don't. I've got lots of theme tunes, but not that one. I do have this. I've never played that one, I think, on a stream ever. It's Van Halen. It's just sitting there waiting to go. I disagree because I think Puck Off by Pantera, the Dallas Stars goal song, is the best goal song ever. But I'm biased, so it's Pantera and it's Dallas Stars. So
we've got one that everybody gets into. I don't even know what it is, but I mean, it's basically just people going woo woo woo. I mean, so it's not that great a goal song, but it seems to do its job.
It does. But the Pantera one was written specifically for the Stars, so that's why it's so good. They sat there and wrote it for them. So this is one they would like to forget.
Yeah, we'll never let them.
Yeah, it says a lot about the Flyers. I think that
one of the other teams is stealing the Avalanche bit this year. Somebody's doing Blink 182 in the third period.
Well, I've heard that at other games, not just Avs games. So somebody else.
We've been doing it for 2 or 3 years, and somebody's doing it now. It may be the Canes. I'm not sure. WG might be able to tell us that. But
see, when we think of the Flyers, this is what we think.
We got this one by WG.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You got great musician, lousy babysitter.
We're not going to say anything about that as such, but yes.
That was safe.
That's right up there with one of Professor Tex's best lines of that's about as smart as letting Michael Vick babysit your dog.
Dear. That's actually all the
current week stuff.
Yeah, we're probably time for another advert then. I think. Let's see if I can find a decent one while you guys talk amongst yourselves.
if you can find the OV ESPN one, the Ovi and Varlamov spies one, that might fit in with the Nichushkin talk lately.
So we're looking for Ovi.
I don't know what you end up labeling it. It's an old ESPN ad with Ovechkin and Varlamov. It was one of the very first ones we ever played on here.
Yeah,
in fact, it may have been before you started saving them.
So I've got Ovi Life Insurance, Ovi in the Locker, Ovi Bowling.
Yeah, well, the life insurance one is good. We could do that one. That's
we'll
one of my favorites.
We'll do that one then.
Hey, Alex, why is Backstrom on your life insurance policy?
We're a duo.
A duo?
Yeah, if something happened to me, who is Becky going to pass the puck to? His power play points might drop. How he will get his assist? What then? Yeah, what then?
And why is he always here for breakfast?
I love that one. We're a duo.
We're a duo. I love that. I think my favorite is possibly the All-Star game one though, with Ovechkin ordering all that.
Ordering all the food to Crosby's room.
That's right.
Ovechkin. I like the Sedin twins one too, where they're passing the food across the table.
That one
Nobody passes to my brother but me.
That's right. The Sedin's,
and then the Sedin stripper one was great too.
Yeah, well, we'll do that one. We'll have a quick break. We'll do that one. Oops, sorry. Here it is.
15 years in, and the Sedins are still among the best.
It's true. It is amazing how they can just find each other out there.
55 assists for Henrik last season.
56 for Daniel.
And as usual, most of them to each other.
Can you pass us all, please?
Only I passed to my brother.
Wow, they really know how to feed each other.
It's the awkwardness of them as actors is what makes it funny.
It's true. It's like watching the Dix division try to put on something serious.
That's right. We really mean it this time. We really mean it.
We're really trying to read our lines like we're not amateurs.
We're really going to let culture say what he wants to say this time.
No.
Thank you everybody for still being here with us on Bourbon and Boarding, both on YouTube and over on Rumble. Thanks very much. We appreciate it. Lots of great chat as usual. Let's show some we have a few oldies we've been kind of gathering. Moldy oldies, vintage stuff. And we've got the Red Wings against the Flames in the Western Conference semi-final, Game 2 from April 24th, 2004. And as usual with the Red Wings, it was a shit show.
So often is.
Things went south pretty quickly. So let's take a look at those great happenings from 2004. And we'll have some fun with that.
Superstar, and could be the Hart MVP shot. That one deflected into the corner, knocked away. Here we go again. Look at this. Hatcher's ready to go. Oh, Jerome McGinley.
And Hatcher. This has happened before, folks. Not the first time.
Oh, McGinley wears a visor. He's got.
Guess what? Darian Hatcher's got a problem right here. Oh. Now he's got a hold of him.
I see he took the visor off the helmet. Long reach. Jerome McGinley, this guy could battle. He could duck a right, too.
Guess what? Darian Hatcher's no slouch either.
But if I were the Calgary teammates, I'd jump in just because he's my guy.
Wow.
We got it.
There's another one. Darren McCarty that's Darren McCarty
and
going
Mike Commodore.
It's all good, clean fun.
Oh, yeah.
They've separated the other two. Ginla and Hatcher have been separated. So there's a Ginla headed out, and Hatcher too.
These two guys are by themselves. They have no officials to break them up until the referee Pollard comes over.
Exhausted.
And
No blood.
you know, I know again. Well, Hatcher's a tough guy. I know Ginley is too. But if I was a Calgary player,
Hatcher is indeed a tough guy. A guy you could guarantee would take action on behalf of a colleague.
Oh yeah.
What I thought
Party
was
a bit too.
Indeed. That was actually a pretty good. You know what the funny thing about all that was? The only penalty resulted was Hatcher got 2 minutes for high sticking. So that's fair enough. Yeah, it was pretty even otherwise. Fine.
And now he would have gotten a penalty just for ripping the guy's helmet off.
That's right. He rips, gets the you've got a visor on. I'm getting that's got to come off.
Yeah.
Come on.
We're just gonna get rid of that. I like my knuckles.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm sure as a Avs fan that you've got some comments about some of those players.
Yeah, McCarty is not a favorite of the Avs.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. But yeah, I thought Ginla held his own there. I thought he did quite well.
Yeah, and again, ended up being an Av later.
He did,
and a Bruin.
And a Bruin. Yeah. Courtney's asking Darius if he's ever thrown octopi. I've been to many Red Wings games and I've seen octopi being thrown. What I always wondered was where the hell did they get them from? I mean, like I've been
Asian market.
Well, I was going to say I've been to all the supermarkets around here. I've never seen an octopi.
The Asian markets have a lot of different things that you don't see in our. No, I mean just like Asian food markets. We've got like 5 or 6 around here that I mean they have like every flavor of ramen you can imagine. It's like 7 aisles of ramen noodles, and then they've got a whole bunch of different produce and seafood that just isn't popular here.
Fun fact: do you know why ramen became so popular in Asia? And Japan and Korea particularly.
Because it's cheap and made from
Because
rice?
the feudal overlords took all the rice in Japan. So in Japan, the samurai and their masters, the daimyo, took all the rice. Everything was done in how much rice can you provide to me as your lord. So the peasants couldn't eat the rice they were growing. So they had to eat imported grain like wheat. And that's what noodles are made out of. They're not made out of rice. So ramen became popular. They had to eat other things. Just it's fascinating that they grew all this rice, so they couldn't eat it. The peasants that grew it couldn't eat it because the lord took it as.
Yeah, because rice noodles would be yakisoba, or soba noodles at least.
Yeah, so fascinating. I'm into that stuff. I'm into Japan and Korean history and stuff like that. So. Courtney says that you need to talk.
I just told her where it is.
All right, okay. That's what she said. Right, so we're going to go back. We're going to go back into the mists of time. A time when there was a team called the Nordiques.
Ah, yes.
And there was a thing called the Prince of Wales Conference Finals. Couldn't get it now. It's the King Charles III, not the Prince of Wales, but unless he's given that to one of his kids, I don't know. So this is from 1985, the Nordiques versus the Flyers. This is for you, Courtney. Dale Hunter versus Peter Zizel. And I don't have to remember that player, Peter Zizel, and the Glass. So let's feel the pain.
Gillis, Kumpel, Moeller, Price against Philadelphia. On with Carson, Howe, Ron Sutter, and McCrimmon. Puck in the Philadelphia zone, taken away by McCrimmon on a dandy tonight for Philadelphia. You can start whooping it up, my friends. This one is in the suitcase. The coming home to Philadelphia. Up ice, Mark Howe flips it into the left of Gosselin. Rolls off the stick, and then he pulls it back under him to Pat Price. Price looks to see if they can't get some home runs here. Outlets on the left side to Hunter as the penalties are over. A play through to Gillis. He can't handle it.
Just love
Flyers
this
take
old
it. Howard, a
footage.
little tough to himself. Zezel picks it off. Boom!
Ooh.
He runs right over Hunter and
Holy
knocks out
fuck.
2 panes of glass. And
That glass looked like it was 2 panels over from where he actually was hitting.
It did, didn't it?
Maybe it was was it his skate that went through it?
I don't know. I mean,
Hunter was going in to take Zezel all the way, but Zezel was
here we
peeking.
go.
You could see him coming, and he braced himself. And boy, oh boy, I'll tell you.
Yeah, the
his
skate clips it.
Hunter was actually
Trailing
upside
skate,
down,
yeah.
coming down to the ice.
But that's a huge hit to get your feet up that high in the air.
Well, it's like 6 feet up in the air, yeah.
There was quite a collision.
Oh, he jumped into it as well.
Oh.
It wasn't a problem back then.
Lucic putting the guy through the glass face first.
Yep.
I mean, really, it was.
But boy, I'll tell you, there was
It's a good hit.
It is.
Yep.
It's a great hit. It's just so much momentum.
Yep.
Mr. Van Imp, would you consider that?
And that was before seamless glass.
Yeah. So as so yeah, that was a pretty neat. I mean, there's nothing. I don't think there was even any fighting or anything. It's just not malicious. It was just one of these things.
Just a huge hit.
Yeah, it's nice to see the glass being destroyed.
And you'll have to keep an eye on the Rumble chat for me because I can't get back into Rumble. It's taking too long to respond, and I don't want to close. I do not want to close down all my browsers because this would obviously be one of them. So I cannot see the Rumble chat right now. So I'm not ignoring you guys. So
yeah, I can see it, and I can see TZ and Smokey and Crimlon doing a lot of chat over there. Thanks, guys.
I'm not ignoring you. I just can't get back into the chat because I can't get into Rumble at the moment.
And as Smokey said over there, it's so nice seeing minimal ads on the boards because now even all the electronic ads.
Oh yeah,
and that's interesting. I can't see this week's show even in your.
Well,
yeah, there's something weird going on with tonight's show. I don't know what it is because obviously people found it because they're here, but it's not appearing on the front page. It's not appearing in the sports section, and I can't even get back into Rumble now. It's like it's error cannot find.
Yeah. So over in but over
maybe
in Rumble,
traffic is high.
TZ said we had the boards breaking in Anaheim versus Colorado a couple of years ago. The glass breaking.
Yeah, it happens every now and then.
Yeah.
Not as often as it used to.
Kind
of like backboards in basketball. They've got them braced a little bit better.
Yeah. So it's still going on over there. I can see you guys. So thanks for being there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's still active. I just can't get in. So.
Jack Edwards is conducting a DDoS. No, he's too depressed. He's too depressed to do that. He's sitting in his basement right now going, this is not right. I was so enthusiastic. Why didn't we win?
Well, that's the thing is he always is. Like you're always wondering when the guy's just going to have a heart attack on camera.
Right, so I get another vintage thing for us, and all I've got written here because this, we just to let everyone know how we make the cheese here. There's a lot of work goes into making this show, and I've got scribbled notes here that go one line. This is,
and it helps if your computer doesn't go down or have to be rebooted 4 minutes before the show, and you lose all your
so
tabs open.
These are the notes. It's not just we don't just make this shit up as we go along.
Yeah, we bookmark Twitter all week long, everything we see, and then we send it back and forth to each other.
The problem is I get to this time of night and I go, I've had 4 drinks and I go, all I've written here is one line. What the fuck is this?
And I can't read it without my glasses.
I got my magnifying glass. Anyway, the
scary thing is he actually has a magnifying glass right there at hand.
I actually have a magnifying glass, so I can go like this.
It's time for some more spontaneous commentary.
I'm getting old. What do you expect? So there's cheese. Yes, there is cheese, but we're not going to show it to you because that would be gross.
Schmegma,
Red Dwarf at its finest. So this is a clip. This is actually a significant clip in some ways. This is from a game from 1969. December 19th, 1969, that somebody posted on Twitter, and I went, oh, that's good. And it's Keith Magnuson of the Blackhawks, who I don't recall at all, versus Carol Vadney of the Oakland Seals. There's a name for you. So let's have a look at this.
And Van Nuy just gave Magnuson a solid elbow, and they're letting him go. They're letting him go. A right hand by Magnuson, another right. A right hand by Van Nuy. A right hand by Magnuson.
That one, that landed, and it's
Yeah.
And finally, the players pile up.
Right at the beginning, was that a ref that goes just sliding by at 100 miles an hour?
Yes, it was. Yes.
And Van Nuy just gave Magnuson a solid elbow, and they're letting him go. They're letting him go. A right hand by Magnuson, another right. A right hand by Van Nuy. A right hand by Magnuson, and he puts Van Nuy down. Another right. Another
You know, I have to say, on some of these older ones, it actually looks better in black and white than most of the color that we get on some of the older stuff.
That was from 1969, and there's actually a longer version of that on YouTube. It's about 3 minutes long. That was the third fight they'd had that night.
Oh, Jesus.
So this was like, fuck it, we're going again. And the Oakland Seals, I have to say there is a tiny, tiny connection to the Dallas Stars because they became the Cleveland Barons, who then merged with the Minnesota North Stars, who then became the Dallas Stars. So we have an Oakland link, which is not something to be proud of.
And there's a direct connection between the Nordiques and the Avalanche. They turned into the Colorado Avalanche in 97?
So really that was an
95.
Avs star. 95. No, that was a Blackhawks, of course, but yeah, there's a Stars connection there. But Oakland never made, I think they existed for 10 years. I don't remember. I'm a latecomer to hockey, so 10 years and never made the playoffs. But they did. They did go to Cleveland, and then they folded and became part of the North Stars. The name was wiped out, and they became the Stars. So we bring you the best in history here.
The best.
But
I got back into the chat finally, so Kremlin was trying to take over and declare it his chat now. So I had to quell the rebellion.
So, what would Rumble be without a chat insurrection every now and again?
Yeah. Trying to decide whether to time them out or not.
Pitchforks. The natives are revolting. Well, you don't smell so nice yourself. It's time for some more Bruins, I think. This is a 1998 New Jersey Devils versus the Bruins Prince of Wales conference final again. Game 2, I think, of that series. Again, I don't remember these from the time.
See what comes out of this, but I tell you, Anderson caught Neely. And Cam was slow to get up.
That Cam Neely's just awful tough. He just gave a short right hook to Mealy and then bit.
He wanted Anderson, but the hit he took.
I like the punch when he was on the ground already.
Yeah, but the uppercut, were either of his feet on the ground when he uppercut? Because it looked like he was half falling down as he uppercut.
Yeah, probably. But this is just, it's spirited stuff.
This is a typical Bruins game.
And they have to be fair to me, I have no idea who any of these players are.
Well,
I heard Cam Neely.
Jersey.
If it's Cam Neely, I heard
Yep.
Neely. LeMay. So spirited stuff. I think we should watch the beginning of that again. You're right. Just
Out of this, but I tell you, Anderson caught Neely. And Cam was slow to get up.
oh yeah. Oh,
I love the fact you see Neely in the foreground there trying to take on both of them at once.
that's right. This is the kind of all-out mass brawling that we just don't see now.
Yeah, about the
Well,
last
it's
one I can remember
it's
was
against
Bruins
rules
Canadiens
now.
back in 2011. They had an entire line brawl going,
Yeah.
with,
Yeah, you just-
complete with the goalies.
You just can't do it anymore. Everybody gets suspended for a game automatically.
Spirited stuff. Cam Neely's the only name I recognized out of all of it.
There's a reason he's my favorite.
I thought you'd like that one. That's why I picked that one. Yeah, so let's see.
Funny part is he runs the team now.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but he still, see, the Bruins, they still need boobs behind the bench. There's not enough boobs.
Cam, if you're watching, get on it.
Get the boobs behind the bench.
You know what? That just made me think of another thing that the Landeskog decision could be, whether he wants to go into the front office.
That could be.
I mean, not play again, but I mean, he's a perfect guy for the front office. So that could be the other, a third option for a decision. Because, yeah, Sakic did that, and Sakic's done well, more than well. So
for sure. And that would be nice. That would be nice to see.
Well, I mean,
it'd be nice to see if he. It would be nice to see him play again, but yeah, it would be nice if he gets to stay with the organization if he is done.
I'm always glad to see players stay with or move into the front office in an organization they came up in. Because like right now, you have Neely, who's for the Bruins. You have Neely, who's running the president of the team, and then the GM is Don Sweeney, who played with him.
Yeah,
so that's always.
And we've got Sakic basically in charge of ours. So yeah, I mean, the players that move up into the front office, it tends to be a good move, unlike some of the other sports. A lot of the other sports, you don't see players end up becoming great coaches or great management, or, you know, evaluating talent. But I mean, you do in some cases, but a lot of the times it's not from the same team that they played with. So.
And then you have Wayne Gretzky with the Coyotes, where.
Yeah. Not pretty. He's not with the Coyotes though anymore, is he? Is he with? I mean, they showed him earlier tonight, so I think he's got some involvement with Edmonton, unless they just had him back as a special guest, whatever.
Could be, because as far as I knew, he owned the Coyotes.
I thought so too, but I thought that had changed in the last couple of years.
Maybe it has.
So, I don't know. Brings up something we haven't talked about yet. Ottawa. Is Ryan Reynolds going to buy him? Because they're open for sale here real soon. Now that the season's over, I think it's sometime soon. They are they're already collecting bids, I believe, and the bids close out sometime in the next couple of weeks.
The thing is, he's doing so well and having so much fun over in England with, Wales,
Wrexham.
But Britain with Wrexham.
Yeah.
Is it maybe just a step too far from, like, it would be just one thing too many?
I don't know. Because I mean, he said he would be basically the Mark Cuban of hockey if he gets to buy the Ottawa Senators. I mean, he'll be there acting like a fool the whole time, right there right behind the bench and everything. So it could be great for hockey. I do love the Welcome to Wrexham stuff, though.
That's great. Yeah.
I mean, I doubt there's that many people watching it, but the next season of the show should be quite interesting because I already know what happened with the team because it's a year behind. Yeah,
they got promoted.
Spoilers, Brian. Spoilers.
Well, it's funny because on my shows with the Rock and Roll Rowdies, they all are from Hartlepool who were in that division.
Yeah.
So Wrexham won it and got promoted. Hartlepool got demoted because they were at the bottom. So, so they're all talking about it, but
that was just like 2 weeks ago that they won promotion, I think.
Yeah, it's not a spoiler. It's out there in the world.
I know,
it's a fact.
But most people don't. I don't know that people actually I think they think it's like Ted Lasso. I think they think that it's a TV show, not a documentary. I know.
So Snoop Dogg could buy Ottawa. That would be interesting.
Well, I mean, if Ryan Reynolds does it, it's a large group that he's part of that's buying it. It's not just he's buying a team. He would be like a minority shareholder in it and probably the face of the purchase group. Oh yeah.
The thing is, he's a Vancouver guy, I think, Ryan Reynolds. So it's a shame for him that Vancouver would be the team for him.
Yeah, let's be real here. Would you pay for the Canucks?
No, I would say to get out of the Canucks.
From what he's kind of said, he has no interest in the Canucks.
No,
he actually
sorry,
has
TZ.
interest in getting Ottawa.
Sorry,
So
TZ, but yeah, I'd pay to get out of them. Anyway, that is it. Yeah, it would be great for hockey because it'd be fun.
bring eyes to the sport again.
Yeah,
Yep.
it would be fun.
I was looking at somebody was spreading around a Sports Illustrated thing on Twitter earlier today. It was a cover from like probably 25 years ago. And at that point, the NBA and the NHL were basically head to head, with the NHL beating them on what was the most popular sport between the two.
Interesting.
And since then, the NBA has had 20 years of, basically being the number 2 or number 3 sport in the league or in the country. And NHL is so far behind, it's disgusting. And we've got no real TV rights. Why am I half full screen?
I just like this view. That's all.
We've got, the TV rights issues are a mess. It has never been done real well. The NHL should be a bigger league than what it is right now.
It should be, but can you just imagine? The only reason Snoop Dogg would look at buying the Sens is because he is so stoned all the time. He doesn't realize what he's getting into.
Yeah.
When he's sober,
He's probably
up,
never
go,
worn ice skates in his life.
When he sobers up, he'd go, "Oh shit, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
I don't know. They've got a couple of good young players, but they need a downtown arena. I've been to their arena. It's out in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Well, that's part of the bid is they're going to build an arena, and they're going to build a whole shopping and apartment type district around it. So it will be like a self-enclosed couple city blocks of just shopping, bars, some high-end apartment condos, that kind of thing. So, they're looking for a total revamp of that team and that area where they play. So
the other problem, of course, is that Ottawa is full of politicians. So fuck them. It's like Washington D.C.'s little cousin,
Yeah. And we know what they do to their teams.
Yeah.
Get rid of their names altogether.
I've been to a game in Washington. I've been to a Caps game. So it was Caps Flyers.
I wasn't talking about the Caps. I was talking about the Redskins. But
although now that I live down here, I may buy an old Redskins jersey just so I can wear it to a game.
Oh yeah,
you should. That whole situation is so
it's not
stupid.
the Redskins anymore. It is, and it always will be.
Yeah. I've still got a Cleveland Indians hat, so I'm keeping that one. But because I've been to an Cleveland Indians game in Cleveland. So anyway, we've got another. I think it's our last vintage clip. This one's a beauty. It's an incident I knew nothing about until it was on Twitter. There's a guy called Jim Schoenfeld, who had an altercation with Don Kuharski, a referee. So I saw this. I thought this is great. We're gonna have this. There was an altercation on the ice after a call, and then there was an altercation in the
hallway.
In the hallway. This is the hallway one.
This is for you.
Oh no,
that's a commercial though.
I'm gonna show a commercial first.
Yeah.
It's a Rolex. For me? Bruins jersey. A David Krejci Bruins jersey. Thanks.
Krejci can't find these jerseys. Sorry, I meant to say we're gonna have an advert first. That was again because Pope's here.
Now for a commercial break.
You can see the level of professionalism in this show is outstanding.
Oh yeah.
So this is the altercation we're talking about. And WG has already said, "Eat another donut." He knows what we're talking about. Eat another donut. Here we go.
Coach Jim Schoenfeld has a now infamous altercation with referee Don Kaharski.
You fat pig.
Have another donut.
That's hilarious. Have another donut. And I don't know why we don't see more of this with the coaches and the rest, but apparently this was
because they don't go down the same hallway anymore.
That incident might in fact be why.
Yeah,
Could be.
apparently this was 1988, Game 3, Devils Bruins. The Devils lost 6-1. On the ice, there was a call that was made, and I think Schoenfeld went on the ice and pushed the ref over, like on the ice.
He would have been ejected immediately then.
Yeah, but in the corridor there was claims that he'd pushed him there and he'd fallen over, but there was it never actually happened. Like, he didn't push him in the corridor there. There was just a bargy.
Yeah.
That's why he's saying, are you filming this or recording this or whatever? There was something about that. But have another donut. But anyway, I think I read about it, but I never knew about this. So the coach was banned for one game, but a court overturned the ban, so he could coach in Game 4. So he was behind the bench in Game 4, and none of the officials, they all refused to play.
They all refused to take the ice.
So they had to get new officials. They rustled up to do it, local ones, and he had served his one-match ban though, so he could coach again after that. But he was fined $10,000. No, the team was fined $10,000. He was fined. The whole thing was just a huge clusterfuck. I love it. It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Right. But a court order overturned the suspension, so he was behind the bench for Game 4.
Yeah, that's weird.
Because the league said, "No, you're out. That's it. Suspended." But have another do it. The whole have
so you can get the court involved for the coach, but when we get players suspended, no recourse.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but you fat bastard, basically.
Yeah. DeCarlo's asking if we saw this. I did see this,
well done,
and it was
PK.
funny.
Well done, PK.
I may hate PK Subban with a burning passion, but
so do I.
Damn,
I'm right behind him for that. He's like, PK,
yeah,
that's good.
And the best part was everybody went after him, and he just didn't address it. Like, I don't care.
That's that's the way to do it. Blow them off.
Yeah,
I don't fucking give a shit. Yeah.
Yep.
But that whole Schoenfeld thing is just hilarious. It's like, I wish I had the clip of them on the ice. I couldn't find it. But
and back in the days, coaches used to mix it up with the refs and other players. Even there's a famous footage of Terry O'Reilly when he was the Bruins coach, literally grabbing one of the Canadiens by the neck because he was going after his player.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that Rumble Chat was talking about earlier was when Waugh went after. I mean, when we were talking about the Colorado incident with the Ducks. That was when Waugh pushed the glass that separates the two teams over, trying to get to the other coach.
Yeah.
That's probably the most recent coach on coach attempted violence.
We don't see enough of that.
Of course, it was Patrick Waugh too.
Of course it was. And that was his first season. Was it his only season? I think he coached us 2 years, but yeah, that was his first season.
You'd rather forget.
Yeah, they were weird. Well, and that's how we got Bednar. Bednar was a minor league coach, and Waugh left. He just walked out on the team 2 weeks before preseason. So that's how we got Bednar. Is all right. We need somebody. Let's find somebody in the minors that has been successful, and they brought him up. Had the worst season in Avs history, and then it's been playoffs ever since. So he's done a good job. I will be shocked if Bednar is not included in the awards. I mean, he may not win it, but he should be nominated for Coach of the Year. because to win a division with what he had to go through this year is a little bit insane. He had to cycle AHL players
But
all
you only won
year
the
long.
division because we gave it to you.
Yeah. Either way, even if we hadn't won the division, I mean, he did a hell of a job with a whole bunch of minor league players mixed into an NHL lineup.
You know very well that's not how the NHL works when it comes to awards.
No, but they did put Makar up for Defenseman of the Year again.
Well, they didn't put Miro Heiskanen up, and Miro's had the most incredible season.
Well, at this point, I think we can all agree that Carlson's just going to walk away with it just because he scored so many points.
Yeah.
But
it's the same with the rookie, the Calder thing. It's White Johnston deserved to be at least nominated.
Yeah.
And nowhere to be seen. I mean, the kid's had a great season, but 24 fucking goals in his rookie season. Never mind. I'm a homer, so what do you expect? So
am I. That's why I think my guys should be nominated too.
Right. But, as others have said on forums, it's good that our player isn't nominated because he can ask for less in the next contract renewal. So he can't ask for as much money.
That's also very true.
Exactly. There's a spin-off. So, but anyway, that incident with Schofield and Koharski, I didn't know this. Again, the whole Wayne's World thing where there was an Officer Koharski in Wayne's World hanging around the corner, the donut shop.
Named after the ref.
It's all about that scene. I didn't know that.
Go have another donut. Yeah.
It's a total parody of that whole incident.
That's funny.
Yeah. Because it's Stan Mikita is the donut shop.
Right.
And it's hilarious that the cop is called Koharski and he's hanging around the donut shop.
They snuck that one in as a Easter egg to hockey fans.
And I didn't know. I didn't get it. I mean, I knew Stan Mikita was Stan Mikita, but I didn't get the whole Koharski thing. And now I do.
Mike Myers is Canadian. I mean, big hockey.
Indeed. Anywho, I think that was all the clips.
That's all the clips we got.
But we're up to 2 hours, so as an old
we can do one more commercial to get us to the 2 hour mark, and some final, whichever one you want to pull.
Let's find a nice, funny commercial then, while we're waiting.
And while he's looking for that, yes, they're talking in the Rumble chat about the Wah thing. So, now we've got the third announcer down there in between the partitions. They created that space because of Wah, because before the teams were like right next to each other. After that, they created those partitions on the bench where there's a space in between the teams so that the Wah can't go after people through glass.
Yeah. So speaking of goalies, I think we'll have this one.
Who says a pro athlete can't be out of shape? Who says a light beer can't taste great? Amstel Light, the beer drinker's light beer.
Yeah, that's so well since we've had that one.
That's something I've always wondered too. Like, is there a regulation on how big a goalie can be?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Why would you not find some 400-pound Samoan dude to just go sit in the goal mouth the entire game?
I mean, baseball has regulations. I mean, you can't have a midget go up to bat. Yep. I mean, they did it at one point, and they changed the rules.
Midget, isn't that a pejorative word?
I'm on Rumble. And I've heard you say you say worse.
Can you please use the phrase comics division?
Comics division size people.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
It's beyond little.
Yeah. So there might be. I mean,
there could be a weight, I guess, but I mean, height-wise, we've seen, literal giants in the net.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't necessarily help them out sometimes, because half the time they're bumping up against the top post just trying to move.
Yeah. And let's face it, when you've got certain players that can score and like put a puck in there, all you need is that gap. So, anywho,
Kremlon says, "Oh man, Brahma pulled a bigot."
You're an istophobe.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, coming up.
Yeah, who do we think are going to win these series from where we stand right now?
Big day tomorrow. 3 games. There was only 1 game today, which is a bit weird. It's Saturday. Was it because
Saturday
of King Charles or something? I don't know.
No, it was probably because of the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, there should have been 2 games today. I don't know why there was
you would
only
think.
1. Yeah.
Well, it could be some of the travel. I mean, depending on how far teams are traveling, because there was, in the first round, there were some teams that got off schedule because of travel.
Yeah.
So
maybe. I mean, things thin out. They are starting to thin out a bit with games, but so Hurricanes Devils. I mean, if the Canes win that, you could practically write it's over. Maybe take a miracle for the Devils to come back. But hey, Devils at home. You never know if they win that. Could be back in there. Leafs.
I don't see the Devil or the Hurricanes losing 2 at the Devils.
It could happen, but I mean, the Leafs have got to win this. If any of these are a must-win, it's the Leafs.
Yeah, I'd say out of those 2, though, if either team goes down 3-0, I think it's over.
Yeah,
none of those teams are showing the resolve to get to come back 4 games straight.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that whilst the Panthers are at home, there'll be more Leafs fans than Panthers fans in that arena. So it's despite all their efforts to stop. There's 3 million Canadians are in Florida at any one time. So.
Yeah.
Stars Kraken. I think the Stars might just take this one. I think they found their feet again. They're one bad period. The rest of them have been great.
I'd say Stars in 6.
I think the Stars in 6. Yeah. However, if they lost tomorrow, it wouldn't be the end of the world. They've still got they could still split it with the next one. So
yeah.
So that's tomorrow's action. I must say I'm fairly tumescent about it. That's 3 good games there. So looking forward to those.
Good games if the Leafs or the Devils actually show up. I mean,
well, the Leafs, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean,
the Leafs won't be fun either way. Either we'll see a great hockey game, or we'll see the Leafs get blown out again. So
Yeah,
that's right.
The only series that's interesting out of tomorrow, I think, is the Stars Kraken. The other ones, those games have not been close games so far, and we'll see if they can turn that around. But so far, those have been boring series to watch, outside of the massive dirty hits.
Which I figured it would be with the Leafs and Panthers, because like I said, they were either going to be facing the Bruins in this round, in which case they were kind of screwed, or you're playing the team that just sent the best ones in the NHL home. So,
yeah. Well, and I do find it funny that Florida pulled the thing with if you are not a resident of the U.S., you cannot buy tickets to the game or whatever the pre-sale.
They've tried that before and it doesn't work. Because a lot of these Canadians have got joint residency because they live 6 months of the year in Florida.
Yeah,
3 million of them at least.
Well, when the Colorado Rockies went to the World Series, they tried to do the same thing because they decided to put the tickets all on sale on Ticketmaster for some reason instead of the usual system. And you were supposed to have priority if you lived in Colorado. But I guess they didn't understand how VPNs work or something. But I mean, hardly anybody in Colorado could get the tickets. And that was actually against Boston. And yeah, I went to game 3. And it was ridiculous. There were more Boston fans in the stands than Rockies fans because you couldn't buy tickets living in Colorado, even though it's supposedly limited to Colorado. I mean, it was just robo-dialing everything. I mean, there was no way to get through that system. The first 2 days, you could not enter that ticket sales system. So every time they try to manipulate it, it just makes it worse.
It doesn't work. Yeah, it just doesn't work. And people sell their tickets to anybody on the resale sites.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
I do
as a
that with the
Stars
Avs
fan,
tickets.
I mean, every time the Stars played the Blackhawks or the Red Wings, it was half Blackhawks fans. Season ticket holders would sell their tickets to anybody. So Florida don't need to care. They don't need to care. They're like, why should we care? We beat them twice in Toronto. What does it matter? You know. So
yeah.
And yeah, they win that one. I think it's all over. But hey, Mike, you might have a different view. But
if somehow Leafs went to the finals against Vegas or Stars, I'll try to go to an away game.
Yep. And going to away games is great. I've tried to go to a few myself. It is my intention to go to every arena eventually. So
if it happens to be Toronto versus Dallas, the Dallas meetup will probably be right around the fourth round. The Dallas meetup, June 7th through 11th.
On the Saturday night then.
Yeah, if Dallas makes it. Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm going to have to go to those games in Dallas.
Yeah, you're going to buy tickets.
I mean, I have to go.
If you're down there in Dallas, yeah.
I can't not go. But anyway.
You'll have 70s, broadcasting from inside the arena, Brahma at the bar around the corner. And then
that's right, and then I'll join up with them later.
Yeah.
That'll be good. But anyway. Great show, guys. Thank you very much to all three. Thank you to all three of us.
It was a good show, yeah.
Yeah.
We had fun.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, yeah. Thank you to everybody on Rumble and YouTube in the chats. You've all been magnificent. I applaud you all. You're wonderful, wonderful people. And I wish I had a clip that could just express my absolute love for all of you.
I think Shorzy does that.
Shorzy has clips holding too.
I love how the whole attitude shifts. Hey, Corey.
What?
We're
finally
folding?
Gets him. He finally gets to him. Yeah, that's funny.
Great day for hey, boys.
Did you get her done?
Just kidding. We don't.
Anyway, yeah, thanks everybody for being with us tonight. As usual, it's been awesome. We'll be back next week for more hockey fun. Till then, Pope, our dear friend, thank you for joining us. And what have you got coming up soon?
Well, I mean, you guys can always find me every Sunday afternoon at 4 on my channel for Rock and Roll Religion. This week, we're talking a bit of a new band for me because I've not really gotten into death metal before, so I figured it's about time. And I discovered this English band I really got into called Bolt Thrower. So we are going to be talking about them tomorrow. And then this coming Thursday, we're going to be doing, I guess, part 4 of our history of rock and roll, where we're going over the rise of hard rock and heavy metal in the late 60s. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. And then other than that, usually you can catch me Mondays on 70s channel for It's Only Talk and Roll.
Not this Monday, though.
Yeah, not this Monday.
I'm taking a break. But yes, thank you. Yeah, you're always there for me on Mondays, mate. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime, man. We always talk about some great stuff.
Cool. No, thanks. Thanks for your support. Brahma, I'm sure I know what you're into, but what are you up to the next few days?
Oh, just the usual. Culture's late night show tomorrow night on Culture Casino's channel. Then back with the Dix Division on Yelling at Parked Cars on Comics Division's channel and on Monday. And then Wednesday night, the after show for the midweek hump with Shags. And then back Thursday night throwdown on Comics Division's channel. So
nice.
Staying busy.
Good.
Someday I'll do something on my channel besides this.
Well, we'll have to plan something. We'll have to think of something. I'll give you a hand.
Well, Smokey was saying that Diablo 4 is going to be doing a test thing next weekend, I believe. So I may do some game streaming once that opens up, because I've already got the the deluxe edition, so I should be open for that. So we'll do a game stream maybe next weekend.
Nice. That'll be good. I'll be there. I'm sure I'll be there watching. It's I think I'm hoping I must republish this meme I did of you. I'm hoping this is the right one.
We're done. When I say we're done.
Yeah, that's not how it worked out for the Avs.
That works out in multiple levels. It was Brahma defying the odds.
Yeah.
It's not
so
over.
Disappointing.
Like I said, I'm still surprised neither one of us made it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Insane.
I'm shocked. I thought we weren't going to make it. And then...
Yeah, I was watching 70s on Culture's stream, watched the game while I was refusing to join the stream until the game was over, and he just kept looking around like...
I was looking like this all the time. I was watching the game. I went, what the fuck?
And then I came on and just everybody was like, Brahma looks like he took this really hard.
Yeah. I'm glad Mike spotted that. I did the low effort meme of pasting Brahma's icon on the top of
Yeah, I was in the chat when you popped on. I'm like, oh, this isn't going to go well.
No, I was just screwing around. Honestly, at that point, it was like, you know what? This season, whatever. I mean, anything could have happened this year.
You know, you got to think he maybe overachieved this year given the challenges. So,
I think so. I think I was overly optimistic throughout the year, but they kept giving us reason to be optimistic, which made it even worse, I think. Because if we had just folded when everybody got injured, then it would have been a completely different thing. We wouldn't have worried about the playoffs. Then we're supposedly healthy going into the playoffs, and then more crazy crap happens. So it was just like, whatever. I mean, the whole suspension thing, all that, it was just not our year. I mean, as much as last year was absolutely fantastic, repeats are hard in the NHL. So we get some well-deserved rest over the summer. Hopefully the captain comes back, and hopefully Cogliano heals up and the rest of the guys heal up, and next year will be a different season.
Yeah, I look forward to some Titanic battles with you next year.
Yeah.
We're
going to have to start doing some more watch parties on the nationally televised stuff.
We will, I think. Yeah. And the same for the Bruins. We can do that when the two occasions we play the Bruins, both our teams. As for me coming up, as I said, I'm not doing a show on Monday. I got a lot of domestic business to take care of, personal stuff that's going on. So no show for me on Monday on my channel. I will be releasing a couple of new videos this week, though, which is one thing. Not doing a live show gives me a chance to actually do some videos, like
editing.
Remember videos,
Nope, I don't.
Yeah, editing and doing videos. It's a novel idea for YouTube. But yes, I will be popping up on things like Midnight's Edge After Dark, Toxic Tuesday. Next Saturday, obviously, we'll be back here again for another Bourbon and Boarding, the three of us.
Might have some round 2 wrap-ups. We'll see.
We will, I think, by then, for sure. And in this, I'll be doing this. I'm planning. I have a lot of big shows in the works. I just taking a bit of planning. Rock and Roll Rowdies, Mark Emery, the fourth guy that's was on the last Pop Culture Minefield show. He's going to do a show with me, just me and him. He's the only one I haven't done a one-on-one with. Obviously, working on Graham Bonnet of Rainbow and Alcatraz is we're working on a date for that one. Willie Fife, Deep Purple Rainbow, Dio Tech is we're talking tomorrow about. We're going to talk tomorrow and try and fix the date. So there's a lot of big shows coming up on the channel. So I'm really proud of that and pleased about that. So, but anyway, until we meet again, don't know where, don't know when. but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. So
maybe almost every night next week too.
Maybe every night. So thanks everyone in the chat. Thank you to Darius for doing and Canadian Spider-Man for doing all that modding on YouTube. Thank you to everybody.
And DeCarlo was doing it too.
Yeah, Mike DeCarlo too. Thanks, Mike. Yep. Well, good catch, mate. Yeah. And thank you to everyone over in Rumble. We love you all, and we will see you again next week. Until then, stay well and keep your puck frosty.
And leave a.
Sorry, I pressed that button there.
No worries. I was just saying, leave a comment.
Leave comments, likes, subscribe to both of us. And Pope. Subscribe to Pope. Thank you all.